Hello everyone, welcome back. And today, in our today's session, we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at how to become an effective speaker and how to become an effective listener. However, I shall divide these two sessions into two. I shall begin the first one, how to become effective speaker, and then in the next video, subsequent video, I shall do how to become an effective listener. Welcome. Okay, let me start with something broad. I know that in our day-to-day lives, we have all, maybe at one point, been asked maybe to become a speaker, you have asked maybe to deliver a speech, or maybe you were once a group leader, and then you are there wondering, how will I make, or how will I ensure that my speakers, my listeners, I'll capture everything, and how will I ensure that I'm able to deliver the content which I intend to deliver. So I'm going to break down the things you're supposed to do for you to become an effective speaker, at the same time for you to deliver the content. Number one is you're supposed to start your speech or maybe your talk using a relevant joke or a quote. What this means is, even before you start telling your audience what you want to tell them, start with something funny. Start with a quote. This will help bring the attention of your audience at close. This may not necessarily work, however, if you bring a relevant joke or a relevant quote, you'll be able to capture the first attention of your audience. This has worked a number of times, and this has helped you capture the attention of your audience at first. Number two is that you should prepare dressing code appropriately, or what we normally refer to as groom appropriately. What this means is when you're going to for maybe a talk, or maybe you are the group leader, always ensure that your audience don't focus too much on your dress code and forget to focus on your content. In some cases, you normally find that speakers overdress or maybe underdress. I'll give a very relevant example which I normally like to use. Suppose you are a lady and you're going to address men, and you go wearing maybe a very short dress or a very short skirt. What will happen is you may think that your audience are concentrating. However, they are paying more attention to your dress code more than the content you're delivering. So what this point means is supposed to prepare adequately, choose on the appropriate dressing code, and ensure that doesn't collide with the content, neither does it make you an irrelevant speaker. At the same time, dress in a dress code that you're comfortable in. Don't wear very shaggy, baggy clothes. Don't wear very many jewelries. Just wear appropriate, and this will work a lot for you. The other point is you should always be audible. Audibility at this point is very key. Doesn't necessarily mean that you shout a lot. You can be soft-spoken, but your words are clearly heard. For example, I'll give an example of myself. I'm not a very loud person, but I always try to be audible when pronouncing and articulating words. This helps my audiences capture and get every word that I'm speaking. Okay? And as we have said, you are the speaker. The primary objective is to ensure that your audiences capture everything. So when you're not audible, I think you shall not achieve your objective. Neither will your audiences benefit from the talk. So being audible is very important. And again, in the audibility, so supposed to put the point of voice projection. Voice projection is you project your voice well, and ensure that you use different tone of variations, different stress to ensure that your message is well captured. Meaning says, if you want to maybe emphasize on something, ensure that you use the right stress, you use the right intonation. Don't mix up intonations, don't mix up your stress. The next point is you're supposed to use appropriate gestures and body movement. When as a speaker, once in a while, you may need to demonstrate something. You may need to use facial expressions. You may need to use gestures. This works a lot in ensuring that your audiences are always keen on you. So, for example, if you are giving maybe a speech or maybe an old woman, and maybe you want to demonstrate how the old woman was walking, how the old woman was talking, use those gestures, use those facial expressions, use those body movements. These will add a bonus to your speech and to your content delivery. Again, the point is use appropriate. Appropriate means that you're using the gesture at the right time, at the right place. Don't overuse gestures again. Don't overuse body movements. Don't overuse facial expressions. Don't make them the main content of your speech delivery. The other point is always engage your audiences. This may involve asking them questions, asking them to participate, and through this, you'll be able to know whether they are following or not following. Because if you ask a question, and maybe 10% of your audiences cannot even remember the content, simply tells you this, that your audiences are not concentrating and they have lost track. So what you need to do is go back or rewind and maybe introduce something new and introduce a new method that will help you capture the attention of your audience. However, if you find that maybe 80% of your audiences are answering questions right, know that you're in the right track and you can continue the speech. Lastly, but not least, is always ensure that there are no distractions with your audiences. I know this may not be a very easy task, but if your audience is a small group, you can always control that. So, for example, if there are distractions outside, you can always make a prior arrangement. Look for a silent room. Look for an environment that is conducive. Ensure that there is enough ventilation to ensure that your audience don't suffer from heat rush. And maybe if the environment is very cold, make a prior announcement for them to dress appropriately for the occasion. Thank you. In our next video, on our next session, we shall discuss on how to become an effective listener now. Thank you, and I will be back. And as always said, I'm always that tutor that makes English fun to learn. Thank you.